Welcome to the CFG Gamecast, episode number 6, a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers alike to discuss the latest gaming topics from the previous week. We release a new episode Mondays on Apple and Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, and Podbean. If you are on Twitch, do I have news for you? We are starting to stream every episode live, and you will be able to watch the gaming discussion goodness every Saturday at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and so far right now, Pacific Time, except for today, because I need to watch Endgame this evening, and because these two losers have already seen it without me. So just,
so big losers.
Yeah.
Tickets in advance kind of losers.
Yes, shows us how close we really are. But anyways, so show us some love. Give us a follow on our Twitch channels to not miss an episode. I am Davis Green with CFG Games, and with me are a group of fellow gamers. I have Sesh Evans in the second seat, an awesome Twitch streamer, aka the Backlog Queen. How are you doing?
Very good, and I've completed a couple of games this week, so I've made a dent.
Oh man, this is the second time around, so it's like it can't really you can't be as enthusiastic the first time around. It's like, oh, I already know what's coming. It's like, dang it.
No. See, I've chosen to reel myself back on a second take. Remember, I'm a filmmaker here, so I gave myself some mental notes, and it was I'm way too excited, even though it's literature. It's Doki Doki Literature Club was one of the games.
Oh, we got Doki Doki. Oh, how'd you like?
Talk about it.
How'd you like Doki Doki Literature Club?
Oh, I really liked it.
Oh no! Oh, that's funny.
I liked it a lot. So I am very excited to be able to talk about it.
That trips up your mind though. Like, it's kind of funny because it's like you think it's all cool at the end, and all of a sudden you're like, what the heck's happening? And then it's like, did this girl just stab herself? It's like all these different kinds of things are happening. There's a girl that stabs herself, and you know what? I'm not, not too much of a spoiler, but I mean, it's been 2 years. I'm sorry. It's been 2 years.
We can freely talk. Yeah. Okay, so there's a girl that stabs herself, and you know what? My reaction was like, that was the best outcome, I thought, of this conversation. So I lucked out. She didn't stab me or everyone else. That was good. That is the kind of mindset I was in with that game. It's like, oh, good. She only stabbed herself.
Nice. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I loved it. I did. I really love the dark, twisted, like psychological horror stuff. So,
what was the other game that you beat?
I beat the A game run for Leon and Resident Evil 2. So I've done the A game with Claire, B game with Leon. Now I've done the A game with Leon, and I have to do the B game with Claire. And I did it. I did the Leon game right after I actually met the voice actor.
I saw that. Awesome. That's right. You went to that's right. You decided to play hooky and decided to go to a convention to see the voice actor of Resident Evil.
Yeah, sorry, I had to go meet Leon's new voice actor.
Hey, I can't blame you. Yeah, I can't blame you. You're good. You're fine. Oh, that's cool. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's great. I'm glad you actually are making a dent in your backlog right there.
One dent at a time.
One dent. All right, and I have the leader of the itty bitty Smitty committee. I got Smitty to the third seat. What's up, man?
Yeah. What is going on, my friend?
It's going good, man.
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday to you. So what you been up to, man? It's been so long. I know it's been last week.
A whole week. And by the way, we need to get some more. We need to get the Division 2 in. By the way, me personally, this was it was a good week. So I got my taxes back, right?
Oh, nice.
And for me, yeah. So with that tax money, I'm going and reinvesting in hardware. I got another section of green screen, so I'm gonna be able to have a larger area to play around in, upgrading the GPU, upgrading my HDD, upgrading my RAM. I'm really excited. Yeah. So I was like, all right, I'm going to throw some money at this. And, I'm really excited to get going, get that stuff built out and worked out. So I'm really excited for the future and what the possibilities can be and what I can do. So that's going to be awesome. I finished Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, you know, it's the one thing that I totally underestimated, and I mean, I already knew it's very important was lighting, and the biggest thing with lighting for me was when I switched from regular bulb to LED. LEDs makes things so much nicer, so much nicer,
better.
And you're not dying under the sun while you're sitting there trying to.
Yep.
Like that's one of the worst parts. Like I'll get all sweaty because I had lights up there. They were so hot though. Like right now, I just light myself with one ring light that's like above me. So it's like I definitely need to get
gentle.
a couple more
it
lights.
Feels so different. It's amazing.
I want to get the I really want to get the Elgato thing, but $200, man. I don't know if I want to spend that much for it. It's way too much.
Actually, what's the name? What's the guy's name? Xbox?
Oh, Epos Fox.
Like that.
Epos Fox, yeah.
Epos Fox, yeah. He just did a thing on another set of LEDs. You get a pack like of 3 for like 160 something that will do just that. It doesn't have all the fancy integration. However, it's got stands and stuff like that, and you can use it outside of streaming as well.
Yeah,
so you got the battery packs.
Picking those up. It's got the battery packs,
awesome.
or it can plug in directly to an outlet or something.
See,
so,
I like that.
That's amazing.
The Sony batteries.
I definitely like that.
I'd be a fool not to get those.
The only downside,
I love those things.
Yeah,
like, they you know, like, I come from like a film background, so like I'm used to like the Fresnels and just the hot lights. Like we've literally had to like shoot like from one DP this one time used a like just a little tiny light like under a glass table. And like I was like, that's glass, you know.
Yeah.
20 minutes later, it cracks. Like it was hot enough, it cracked the glass, and like they are that hot. And this was like a little tiny one, this big.
It's
like
terrible.
it wasn't any of like the big ones. Like those lights were just so hot, and they pulled so much power. Like I love the whole new lighting system they have there, and streamers like really utilize them, and it's made it so much easier, like especially for streamers, but then like also for filmmakers.
All I got to say is, and photographers especially. Hey, but what if overall, what have you been playing, Smitty? Like what?
So I just finished up. I mean, you know, I've been playing Division 2. You know, I've been playing Division 2. I love that game. I'm thank you so much for when that game released. It came at a good time, and I say that because what I'm going to talk about today, I'm going to give you a little nibble here. We're going to talk about Anthem and the 1.1 update and their roadmap and whatnot. So again, you know, thank God that Division 2 is out because I don't even know what I'd be playing right now. However, I did finally finish God of War. I got into my backlog a little bit, and I finally finished the game. Yes. So I was happy about that.
Wow, that's great. No, that's awesome. I can't believe God of War. I'm surprised you didn't touch that anytime sooner. That's crazy.
I did. I was playing it. I've slowly been going through it. And I was like, I gotta finish. I was like, I am being ridiculous. I have that. I have Red Dead Redemption 2 that I still need to finish. Oh. I've got all the way back to Metal Gear Solid 5. What was the last one?
Same.
Yeah, it's like Metal Gear is one of my favorite series. How have I never finished that?
Yeah.
No, I'm upset at myself still for that. I'm planning to do those in June or July.
Wow, that's crazy. Whoa. That is so ridiculous. But what's it called? Oh, okay. Well, that's great. And let's just get into it. No, we've been messing around too much here. But I'm trying to get my whole deal. Oh yeah. Oh, I was also playing. I just started Days Gone yesterday, and that is you know what? I'm not gonna leave it. It's a good game, but at the same time, I'm not feeling the character yet. But we'll see where that's gonna go. So, but we'll get on to that. All right. Well, let's get down to it. Each of us picks a new topic of discussion within video games from the previous week. The topic would or could be about a specific game or something that happened in the gaming industry. We don't want to talk about just our own topics. We want a topic from the listener or viewer like you. If you are watching on Twitch, there is a special room up top that's a CFG Gamecast that is made just for you. Just go to the CFG Gamecast room and choose, type in any topic that you want us to discuss, and we may choose your topic of discussion at the end of our episode. You can also either email us at the CFG at confreaksandgeeks.com or tweet us at the Comic Freak for a topic that we will do in the near future, or actually I will say in the week or so. I want to get other gamers involved, in other words. So definitely, if y'all have a question, or if y'all want to see what we think about your topic, go into the CFG Gamecast room and set something and set a topic there for us to discuss. But let's start this stuff off now. So I will start it. I'll actually start, since I haven't done it first in a while. So this one is my topic is about the ever so popular Riot Games with League of Legends. I'm actually surprised that one game company has been with one game for as long as League of Legends has. So that's quite impressive. But so let me just give you a little bit of a backstory on this one. So back in 2018, last year, in late 2018. There was a story saying that there were some Riot employees that were suing Riot because of the toxic environment that they have left, especially for women. Mm-hmm. So they've been in this fight for this bad fight for the past several months. And then out of literally this week, this is probably the first piece of information that we've heard in a long time from it. It seems that Riot is actually trying to not countersue, but they're trying to block the current employees from taking legal action. So, because technically they're able to do it because technically each employee of Riot have signed something in their NDA or whatever, has signed something saying that that they cannot sue for a certain issue, for certain things. So this one, let's see if I can get a quick article on it.
That was something I was reading up a lot on, when it was. I had known some people that worked at Riot. I had worked at Riot myself, and I'm not really into the game, but I do definitely give Riot credit for making esports big in America.
Right. But it's still not toxic. Here we go. So Riot yesterday made motions to force two of those women into private arbitration, which would prevent them from taking legal action. Riot's argument is simple. Those women waived their rights to sue the company when they were hired. In the motions obtained by Kotaku today, which this is where I'm pulling the article at, Riot's attorney explains that the women agreed to arbitration clauses, common parts of employment contracts that are designed to insulate corporations from legal scrutiny. So I was thinking to myself, I'm so what you're basically telling me is that, because they put you as the employee to a bigger firm like Riot, they're going to put you in a situation where they can be it could be toxic as hell in that environment. And they can sexual harassment or any kind of levels of harassment that could happen inside that. They are saying that they're not liable for anything that happens in their own office space. So that's insane to me. I feel
it's a BS thing in contracts. I absolutely hate whenever that's in a contract. It's absolutely BS.
That is ridiculous.
Why would that be in a contract though?
They're
you know what I mean? Hey.
They're not taking. They don't want to take. They don't want to take responsibility for anything that happens inside their environment. That's the only reason why they would do that in their own contract.
It's them protecting themselves entirely, and it's not looking out for any of the employees or the well-being of any employees. It's when the HR isn't a third party, and it's within the company, and they're the people of the company, and they are there to look out specifically for the company and not the employees. It's super predatory. I think I'm never a fan of that. I think it's always.
Here's the problem I have. Yeah, here's the biggest problem I have with this, and this is what makes it kind of annoying. See, circumstances like this, because we all are not are familiar with this is not a secret that the gaming the gaming culture, if you're a programmer or if you're a dev within these companies, I mean, the indies not as bad because they're very limited, but when it comes to the big ones, EA, Activision, all the ones that are like conglomerate level. It's like they treat their employees so bad, like on the outrun. And then what's worse is that like they can just drop you on a dime, but yet they're expecting you to have the loyalty to for you because of everything that you've signed and stuff, your blood, sweat, and tears, these ridiculous hours. So you can I had a friend that works on Call of Duty, and he tells me like the time, the crunch period is like 16-hour days, and it's insane. So like, yeah. So like, when you hear stories like this, it's like, how can they not try to like do something about it? Like, I mean, is there anything that a person can do? Like, because the quick thing would be setting up is to unionize, you know, but
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, again, like I come from the film world, and it's been so many productions I've seen that like there's just too many people out there that have the money to do this kind of startup stuff, or to be the bosses and to be the ones in charge. And they're just the type to exploit people. And this is a really good example of that. So a lot of people that are in charge, they can exploit people, and this puts them in a position to be able to do that. And like the atmosphere, like not only like the working condition atmosphere of having like 16-hour days. Like I come from film sets, so it's like 12, 14-hour days. Like, yeah, like that's what I expect. It sucks to have to expect that. That shouldn't be the case. It's what I expect. Just like I'm sure everyone that does a 16-hour day in development, like same thing. And it's crappy to have to, to have your expectations be something that's so unhealthy. But the people with the money don't care about that. They don't care about that kind of well-being for you. And that's on top of the cultural aspects of it too. Because a lot of these people, like Riot, a lot of the stuff I was reading, less of it like their hours, like mistreatment in those ways. More of it was about the mistreatment and the problems people had adapting to the culture. It wasn't like a really open environment. It was, you're either going to be like us or we're going to get rid of you. And like a lot of the people were fired for excuses where really it was just that they weren't fitting in, or they'd send an email saying, hey, I got to send this to HR. This made this other person uncomfortable and somebody should speak up. I don't think that person would, but I could see that they were bothered.
So basically a caste system.
Down the line. Yeah. So it was a lot of that kind of stuff was what I was reading, like on top of the normal game development stuff too, which is going to be extra long hours. And
I will say this though, because I don't want to fill into the mouths of Riot, 'cause I don't know Riot, and so I don't know like how it is, and I'm also not ridiculing Riot. It's themselves, because I mean, the whole biggest thing is they just need to find like because this isn't new. I mean, like I said, this stuff like this is not unheard of for the gaming culture. It's like there needs to be a better way. There has to be a better way to kind of protect the devs and stuff like this to deal with it. I mean, especially like how bad of an environment. Well, what's even worse is that it seems like they're also current employees. So like they didn't quit their jobs on this. So they need to, because they need to make a living. But like it's just that there's no safety net, and I feel that's so dangerous and so wrong. Like to say that you love making video games, but the second either the game's over or you have some really bad people that's actually with you, there's no way that you can complain about that kind of stuff. I mean, that's where it kind of goes with. I mean, were you going to say something, Smitty? I thought I cut you off.
Yeah, I got a lot to say actually. So you said you said that you kind of absolve Riot Games. I do not. I'm on the opposite spectrum of that. I think absolutely they should be doing something. Somebody's got to show. Nobody wants to be the forefront leader of treating their employees correctly, making sure that there's good standards. What's the standard for how many hours a person can work in a week? or whatever. You know what I mean? I was watching Critically Awkward had the talk show as well, and they kind of touched on this. They're animators, graphic artists, and stuff like that. How is there not a union? You know, you're thinking like, well, just unionize and you know, make them treat you fairly. But then they were talking about how, well, then they just move to Canada or go somewhere else where there's subsidies and stuff like that. So it's hard to actually, you know what I mean, be able to get that union when they could just go, well, we'll just go somewhere else and we'll get it for cheaper. We'll get tax benefits, and you know,
it's tough because it's similar in like the film world where it's not just like tech, but there's like a creative aspect to it. There's an aspiration to it. There's this is my dream job. Yeah, I'll shovel shit for I don't know how many years if one day I get to this goal of mine. And so there's a lot of people taking advantage of people with aspirations. Yeah. Which is the easiest kind of people to take advantage of, sadly. So like if you're saying, no, this is my pay, these are my hours, they're going to hire somebody less good and cheaper than you because they can afford it. Like they not often enough care about the quality. Like they won't be pushing people 16 hours a day if they actually did really care about the quality out most. They care about like the product and making money out most. So they'll just hire somebody cheaper. And even if they're like less skilled, they'll be able to find people too. So it's tough because like the young people have to start somewhere as well. And that's kind of their start. But the thing is, the young people shouldn't be the ones that are starting in those kinds of positions with those kinds of like really low pay with big companies. Like the big companies are just taking advantage. Yeah, like they're literally just taking advantage of those new people, and then they get more skilled, and then they're just replaced with the younger, you know, graduates.
Exactly.
Like, I've seen that happen. I can't tell you how many times I've seen that happen in like a lot of different fields. Lots of different companies do that where they'll just once you're, you know, worth a certain amount of pay, like just as a worker, they'll replace you with somebody younger because they still don't want to pay more. They don't want to pay what you're. They'll just pay what they want to pay to someone else.
Hey, Smitty, I will say, I want to say that. Oh, sorry, but I wanted to say that I'm not really absolving them on that. I'm just saying that the company is not necessarily. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm pro what they're doing is right because I think it's completely BS. I will say that it's. I'm saying that like the company feels that they're in their right to do that is because they can do it. And it's not, it's not because of, it's not, I'm not saying that like what Riot was doing is right because it clearly is wrong, but because this is not a matter of hours or this is not about matter of work hours or anything, but this is a matter of treating your workers in a safe, non-hostile environment. And if you have 5 people that are coming up front saying that these people are being sexually harassed about that, there's a problem with your culture in your business and you need to fix it. But like but instead of doing that, they're just saying, hey, you know what, you can't sue us for that because we have the power because you signed the contract. I'm saying stuff BS like that shouldn't go through, but they can't, but right now Riot's in their rights to do it. And I feel like they just need, I mean, like there has to be something like maybe like you said, y'all are both in the movie industry. Like even if you move to Canada and stuff like that, there's no ways. I mean, I'm assuming there still is a union that still protects you for doing certain projects like that. Like
like we usually like freelancing, we make like a deal memo. So like we usually like sign a deal memo like per gig that we're on for the most part. And in that though, there's sexual harassment issues. It's saying, you know, you're not allowed to do this and like the company is not liable when that happens. The thing is like even if like you go to the individuals at these companies, they're so ingrained in it. Like it's not necessarily like the Riot stuff. I don't think it's necessarily been like sexual harassment from like the owners, from the people who it's just been the other employees around that have been there and that are just part of that culture.
Yeah, so but 5 people. I mean, 5 people is a lot.
It absolutely shows it's part of the culture too. And like people usually don't lie about this stuff. And I get that there's like some like blurred lines where it's like harder to tell if it's like you're making someone uncomfortable. Sometimes people aren't as good at like deciphering what other people's comfort levels, and sometimes a hug's great for one person but then just not great for another person. But with this like 5 people, like that's kind of consistent,
that's what I'm saying,
a little bit more universal. Like that is like a cultural problem there, and it's just
Yeah, they just need to do something.
Like they really do. But like, there's stuff about like not being allowed to sexually harass, but like they're not reprimanding those people that are doing those things. So the ones that also sign the same contract that says I can't sue you, we go into arbitration, and I'm not allowed to sexual harass people, or I will be reprimanded. Like those are usually like within the same contract, and those people who are doing the sexual harassing are not being reprimanded. Like, are they fired? Are they coming out? Are they being sued separately? No, it's just Riot protecting themselves and their own.
Yeah,
and their own being the people that are falling in line with their culture.
And think about like other jobs. There's a reason why legislation and stuff created to guarantee time off when you have maternity and paternity leave and all these different rules and regulations, because companies will take advantage of a situation unless they're told not to. You know what I mean? And that's kind of where I'd like to see, especially with the game industry. I know this has been going on for a while, but the more the gaming industry gets put into the spotlight, the more it's commercialized and becoming, normalized thing. These things are going to be happening more and more, and we're going to see more and more of it. I think ultimately it leads to some form of legislation that says, hey, here's at least some protections for these employees, because you're right. I don't think the companies are going to do it. I would love to see a company say, kind of like a Zappos or something like that, where they come in and, we're going to have a good time. We want people to have a stress-free environment and this and that. I don't know that we're going to see that right now out of a company. And I think ultimately it leads to some form of legislation that's created in order to protect employees. But something has to be done, because what they're doing is just, I mean, at least for myself, morally, it doesn't feel right. And again, I'm a person that, I work to live. I don't live to work. You know what I mean? And especially when you're starting out, you're going to grind out and do whatever, because I'm trying to move up. I'm trying to progress in my career, this and that. I'm not trying to step on any toes. It makes you susceptible to being taken advantage of.
Yeah.
As far as, with the sexual harassment claims and stuff like that, I'm very much I don't believe that people, and I don't get me wrong, I know that there are some people that cry wolf on that stuff, but for the most part, someone's not going to just say some stuff like that just randomly. You know what I mean? Not only that,
you get ostracized when you say that stuff. And 5 people is a lot. Like that's a lot. Like, it's not just one random person, one random like, oh, you hugged me when like I was for a handshake. No, like it's not that. 5 people though. 5 people. That's a lot. And those are the ones that have come forward. There's probably others that have been bothered, but are just, that's the other thing too. Like a lot of people, I mean, especially like girls I've talked to are just used to like being uncomfortable. So a lot of the times like, it's fine. It's that expectation, like that, oh, I expect 16 hours a day. Oh, I expect this guy to come up and like put his hand on my shoulder and make me really uncomfortable. Like,
okay, we got to cut this. We got to cut this short. Yeah, we're at 28 minutes on this. It's pretty good. No, that's a pretty good topic. Really yeah, it's very nice. But I think the best way, Smitty, the way you kind of capped it out at the end, Smitty, was pretty the best way, I would say. So yeah, well said. We'll put a pin on that, because I really do want to kind of go back on that. But so that's good. Okay, so the next topic we'll have Sesh to do it, to do her topic right now.
Okay, so again, mine is super short, and it's I was looking around. I wanted to talk about some zombie stuff, but I sometimes don't like to talk about something like particular games until I've played them. Like I don't want to just go on other people's hype. So I wanted to find like a nice little topic that I'd be able to talk about, and I found this really great little article about about how video games could in the future help prevent Alzheimer's.
Oh,
and by prevent, I mean be able to detect it much, much earlier than like our normal medical testing does right now. So
can you prevent? Like, can you specifically prevent Alzheimer's?
Well, that's the goal of the research, is to be able to prevent it, because it's a terrible disease. And so like the goal of like the research is to like prevent it, make it something so it's not going to be as bad, delay it, like that's really like the goal of like the research for it. Like it's not just, let's learn about how these people are suffering and do nothing.
Right.
So there is the idea is, so with Alzheimer's, like people are very familiar with like once you start having these signs of it, like you're probably going to be more forgetful, there's going to be memory issues, memory loss, that kind of stuff. Mental farts is a lot of people get anyways, so it's harder to detect. But that's kind of late stage. Like that's when like you have it and you already have the momentum of going downhill. Like there's not a lot at that point like you can do except watch it all happen, which is terrifying and terrible. But apparently, like a spatial orientation awareness and those kinds of cognitive abilities are the first thing to go. But it's really hard to like just test for that.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing a video game. So there's this little point and click video game. It's made by a few different European entities and like with the help of like a lot of different European universities. It's called Sea Hero Quest. And the idea is like you're just like a little boat captain and you have to navigate. And so you're looking at maps, you have to memorize the maps, and then you're traveling down like a canal and you have to be able to direct the boat not to hit things like as you're going down the canal. And there's a bunch of little like memory tests like that. And apparently like just 2 minutes of gameplay with that and looking and seeing how people play and what their cognitive abilities are worth about 5 hours of conventional data.
Holy crap.
So
wow.
It's
2 minutes?
2 minutes worth 5 hours, which is fantastic. And it's just like a little simple game. And not only that, but it's something that detects Alzheimer's and like dementia issues earlier stages than a lot of the conventional testing. So I thought it was just like a really cool way to utilize video games in like a really healthy, productive way that could hopefully like in some way help out this like really, really, really terrible, scary disease. So like I applaud them. I wanted to make, get some awareness out there for that.
No, that's freaking awesome.
Good positive thing,
So, I mean, if it's true, like I mean, like if the technology or the data goes into fruition, that it does be able to kind of show. Well, I guess I don't understand like what. If you find out that you have Alzheimer's early, what is there that can you do? Like, well, I mean, is it a matter of just changing your lifestyle, like your lifestyle? Or what?
There's things you can do to slow it down. It's less so entirely about lifestyle changes because there isn't a cure for it right now. The goal is to make a cure for it, but there are some ways you can slow it down, and a lot of it has to do with like cognizant engagement. So like doing like Sudoku, doing like quizzes, like just doing something that's not just keeping your brain stagnant.
Right.
Like even if like it's not saying like, you let your brain lapse into this because you're going to get it genetically.
Right.
If you're going to get it, but like you can help slow it down by doing those extra things. It's like if you have I have like diabetes in my family, so I watch my sugar and stuff. Like I probably will still get it at some point in my life where like my body can't produce its insulin, but because I'm eating healthy and like starting much younger than like anyone else in my family who's had diabetes with, trying to be healthy, I've probably delayed it at least. So the goal is to,
that's cool. That's pretty cool.
Die before I get it.
I know, right?
Yeah. It's about delaying the inevitable.
Can you imagine just saying,
like,
okay,
anything helps.
It's like, we need to do an Alzheimer's test. We need you to go on DDR and do this one song on expert level just to see if you can keep up with the arrows. That's just basically.
Yeah, dude, that stuff helps because it engage like you're basically like different ways you're thinking and engaging with different like different kinds of mediums and like physical things. Like they make different connections in your brain.
It's like, like 3 out of 5 stars. Well, I don't know about that. Just like it's like
you should see a doctor.
You may want to go see a specialist. It's like a doctor's like at 9 at what's it called at round 1 with you right in the back, like with some wires connected to you while you're playing Beat Mania or something like that. It's just
It's interesting. It's all brain function.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I love that they're starting to, again, it's with this normalization of games and seeing now like, oh, maybe let's take it and apply it to some research or something. And then they're seeing these positive effects that they can be having. It's like games have always been, I'm sure many of us are video game lovers. It's always been such a big part of my life. And you know what I mean? It's a place that I can escape to. I can go and role play and be somebody else. I can be anybody. You know what I mean? I can be out in outer space doing all kinds of crazy stuff. It's like there's so much that you can do with it. And I love that they're now starting to take some of this and apply it to, things that, such as diseases and how maybe it can help people's mental states and stuff like that. I think it's fantastic that they're going. And, again, the stigma is opening up a little bit and people are starting to experiment and explore with them. Not only that, but then you got developers now that are seeing this stuff and it's getting their creative juices going and what they're creating and stuff like that. So overall, I feel like this kind of stuff is really positive, both just for us in general, mental health wise, and I think the possibilities are limitless, really.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, it's like a big circular thing where, like, Gabe started off like with what they can do and like the simplicity of it, and then they went into like the creative and the art, like our video games art. That those kinds of discussions were happening, and now the science side is taking it over and like seeing what they could utilize. And then the creative side is going to jump back in and be like, "Oh, this is giving me ideas that can help people," which is all just it's great. Like,
if you ever go to GDC, like I went to GDC this is my first year going. We had an experience. Shameless plug. Go to confreaksandgeeks.com for our GDC coverage. Anyways, there's so like if you ever go to GDC, there's a spot. I mean, GDC is known for most of these ridiculously like amounts of people congregate into one giant convention center of like indies, and there's an indie spotlight area that shows how games could be used other than just gaming, very incredibly interactive and stuff, and to show your point on that gaming is it's more than just point and click and stuff like that, but on how it can also measure and also kind of stimulate your mind to other different ways and aspects to kind of to measure where you're at or just mental health in general. It's incredible. I mean, when you think about how we kind of, I'm assuming we're almost around the same age with each other. When you think about how it all started with like NES and Super Nintendo, most people were thinking like, oh, this is going to rot your brain. But it's like, it's so far away from that. Yeah.
Monkey jumping on alligator. Like, the heck is this?
Yeah, it's so incredible. Yeah. Like the world we live in today now, that gaming is how gaming is getting the respect it's finally needing to get, like it deserves for to be an art style could be a lifesaver, and it also increases points of it. So I mean, to hear the things like this with using gaming in Alzheimer's, it's like you think for a second you're thinking, oh, this is crazy, but then you really think about it, you're like, you know what, this actually makes sense. I mean, it's really cool. All right, but I gotta cut you.
I think it's really gaming's.
Oh, I gotta cut it off. Sorry. Yes. Yeah, because we're trying to get this up before an hour, but we're good. We're at 37 minutes, so we're good. So we need to we need to save the best for last. It's going to be Smitty's topic. What you got, Smitty?
This is just gonna be me talking trash. No,
these are the following people I hate. You have a list.
Let me go down my list. So this week, I think it was Tuesday, Anthem came out with their 1.1 patch. Let me.
You are look. You know what's funny about? Here's what I like about you, Smithy. It's like you don't BS. If you don't like something, it's like. It is monstrous.
You didn't like it? What?
This hurts me. This hurts me so much. I mean, okay. So with the patch, I mean, they did some quality of life stuff. They did some changing. You know what I mean? things, balance adjustments of Masterworks. They added a new stronghold, which in my honest opinion is kind of bleh. It's all right. It's all right. That's it. I was really hoping this was going to be the push to get me back on the game. And it's not. It's not. And it's not because what's the one thing that people are having issues with? It's a looter shooter, right? If I'm not getting the good loot, if I'm at end game, and I'm not getting legendary and masterwork drops. What am I playing for?
Yeah.
Why am I playing? There's no point. You know what I mean? So it's like stop. And so they officially delayed their 90-day roadmap. I think this was smart, and I'm okay with it. Again, I know this seems negative. I absolutely love this game. I want to see this game achieve what I think it can achieve. I want to see it be successful, but they have absolutely butchered this, man.
Yo, wow.
They had 7 years, son. 7 years I've been waiting for this game. I was playing Destiny 1. I remember they announced it, and I was like, all right, man, that seems real good. I was like, I'm gonna throw the money at this. I'm gonna throw all the money at this. Not only did I throw all the money at this, but then I'm telling my friends to throw their money at it, and some of them threw their money at it. You know what I mean? So like, I'm over here looking like a jackass because you know what I mean. Like, nobody. I don't even play the game anymore. I went in this past week. I played the new Stronghold a couple times. Didn't get a legendary drop at all.
Wow, really?
Get the same weapons I've been getting. Yes, it's like stop. And this is where I applaud them because at least they know, hey man, we need to stop with the delay everything. We need to get the base game right. Right. Again, how was it? Hey, do you remember that time when it was really fun? It was dropping all the great loot and this and that. And they said, whoa. That was a mistake. We can go ahead and take that back. And
all this fun is a mistake.
Yes. It's like, give me the mistake then. I want the mistake, please. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, that was crazy to me, man. That was crazy to me. And this is, I'm glad that they are stopping. And they are gonna, because that's what they need to do. I was gonna say, if they continue making new content for this, then shame on them, because they need to stop immediately and fix the base game. Listen to what the community's been saying. Listen, people want to love this game. People want to, and again, it is so much fun to play. It is so much fun to play, but I feel like it's for nothing. You're not working towards anything. You're not getting the extra stuff. How did you not already have a collection of a mapped out, like, hey, here's the first year and a half, 2 years of weapons, armor, this and that. Like, you can see that they didn't do anything. Again, there was that article and that stuff about them not really starting until like the last 18 months. And it is very apparent that is a real thing. And it is shameful. It is, they should be ashamed of themselves. They had 7 years to do something with this. And I get it. Oh, it's new and innovative and blah. Give me a good game. Give me the game that you promised me. You know what I'm saying?
On a positive note, though, have you seen those Anthem shorts yet? From Oats Studio. I
still haven't seen those. I do.
You will feel better about waiting for those 7 years if you go and watch those. They are completely amazing. Again, it's Oats Studios or maybe Oats Media on YouTube. Holy shit, they are good.
You know what's funny? So I was just thinking in my mind, like, man, there's so many good clippable moments just now what you just said. So I will say this because, like, I have not myself haven't checked out the new version of Anthem because I have no taste. When I read the things that came into it, I was like, okay, cool. It sounds cool, but at the same time, it's like they're only adding one stronghold, which is like, okay, I already did all 4 of them in less than a week after I got my top thing. So one is not going to make me say I'm going to drop Division 2 and just come in and do that one to see what's up. But the big thing was loot. It's like, you're right. It's like it's a loot shooter. I mean, you got to have loot for your for the shooter. Then and in different aspects of this game too, because like you said, it is a fun game. Not a good game, but it is a fun game right now. But like the aspect of like there's 2 spots that they failed on to me was the customizations. Like, cause like you remember, I hate to compare Division 2 to this, but like, in Division 2, how often do you see a mirror image of your own character, like in that game?
Right.
Incredibly rare.
Right.
You will not see another person that looks the same as you. When Anthem came out, when Anthem did their beta testing, they unlocked all their armor sets, and their armor set that they had was like maybe like they had at least I mean, it wasn't a lot, but I will say that it was enough to be distinguishable between other games that you're playing with other people. But they totally dropped the ball. They put a giant paywall, and they were incredibly limited on releasing that. So you were just seeing mirror images, just different colors of the same scheme to like to this whole thing. So I really feel like in that aspect they failed. And the other aspect is the fact that it takes like an army just to get the stupid loot. And it's like legendaries is an arm and a leg. It's just it's insane. And there's no it's 100% chance. It's 100% chance to do it. And it's like, are you serious? It's like, oh, now the only reason why I would see why they would want to do that is there's either not that many legendaries out there currently in the game, which I can now pretty much confirm that has to be the case. So they can't just say, because people are not going to be walking around and they're going to have the same legendary build as everyone else. So there's no diversity on that, or EA's being EA, which is basically just being greedy SOBs and just not caring about the community. But like, yeah, you're right. The best move that they did is to halt what they were planning on doing on their 90 days, because like I mean, I really want to like this game, but like, or want to be like, okay, I need to stop the Division, but you have not given anyone a reason to say, okay, let me give the Division 2 a break. I'm at endgame on Division 2 right now, and I still play for hours. Like, and the game, it's like, it's ridiculous because it's still fun. It's still it's repetitive, but we already know what it's leading up to, and it's just like, but there's so much in that game that is so jam packed that the game is still fun. You're still getting your $60 worth, but man, I don't know.
It's not quite on my backlog list yet. I'm gonna wait till like issues are fixed, then everyone's like, it's good now. It took them a minute, but it's good now. And then I'll be like, okay, adding it to the list. So right now I'm just like, great conversation, guys. I'm just going to keep my eyes on it and completely not play yet.
See, but this is another issue I have. It's like, this is one of the laziest ways. I've always hated when they how they can release a game and then expect the player to be like, oh, we don't have everything that we have on here yet, but we're going to do it. And then it's like, that mentality needs to stop, because that is insane.
That's the Destiny mentality.
The Destiny,
delay of the release.
Oh yeah, well, and don't get me wrong, some of them is a little bit more complicated than the others. Like what's it called, No Man's Sky. Like, I did not touch that game for 3 years because I knew that game was not looking as good as people with the hype. Yeah, but then when they released the giant pack where they were like, oh, multiplayer is on, you could do all of this. There's no more. You can actually see other people inside your instance and stuff like that. I was like, okay, let me give this a shot, and it was like $15. Excuse me. And it was like 15. Yeah, it was $15. So I was like, okay, what do I got to lose? But then like but like, can you imagine, like me, I have nothing to lose on the $15, but 3 years ago, the people that bought into the hype, the people that were like, oh, I can't believe this game is coming out, I can't wait till this game is coming out, paid $60 for nothing. For 3 years they had to wait, and then until it became something. I'm worried that this is the same way that where this is going with Anthem, because like, really, BioWare is a great studio, but they need a win, because they, like, prior to Anthem, what have they done? And like, I mean, Mass Effect Andromeda, which was also a fail. And I mean, Dragon Age
I did play that one late, but like, man, I hate the internet for canceling that series. Like, it definitely had flaws, but like, damn, it was like, I'm super invested in the Mass Effect series though, so I definitely have my space alien love biases carrying a lot of weight for me for it, but still.
Oh
man, like just guys, come on.
Yeah.
Like it's
yeah, it hurts, and it really hurts to talk about it, because it's like, I mean, like Smitty said, dude, Smitty is probably like the biggest fan I've seen for Anthem. Like, he bought someone a legendary pack. He bought himself 2 copies of the game. You got Origins Premiere, so you can play it 2 weeks early. Like he has at least probably 4 or 5 copies of this game. It's like when it came out. So like, I can understand why you're mad. Collecting dust. I can understand why you'd be frustrated by it.
Yeah, that's why I know for a fact these are all completely valid complaints, because you are such a fan. When a fan is complaining and like they're hating on it as much as they are a true fan, that's when like you really know that they messed up and like there's something wrong with it. Like that's why like, again, like, mad at the internet for canceling Mass Effect Andromeda, because I'm like, you weren't really true fans of the series. You don't know what they were going for. But with Anthem, I'll wait till you say it's good.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's just that disappointment level, and with the amount of time, and it felt, like I knew that there was the possibility that this could happen, and that was going to be the case of it. But I was really, I like to try to be optimistic about that stuff. Like I said, I know it may seem like I hate the game. I don't. I actually love the game. I'm disappointed in it. Like a father is to a child. Just like, I'm so disappointed in you right now. Like, I know you can do better. You gotta dig deep.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, literally, like the meme, like, you were the chosen one. That's how I feel about it. You were supposed to be the chosen one. Like, how could you? Not you.
Anakin, why?
But I think I think it'll get there, and I'm excited to see it get there. But I would say, if you do not have it, wait. Just wait for it to get to that good place. I am waiting. I will continue checking back and seeing what the state of the game is. Once you give me a reason to grind it out, give me those loots, give me something. I heard something about the possible new armor sets being introduced and stuff like that, which should have been an out the gate thing. How is that not a part of, you know what I mean? It's like, you're basically in this suit majority of the time. It's a first person in TARDIS and stuff like that.
Right.
I want to be able to customize my suit. I want to look like a badass and be different from Joe Smo. Like, there's so many options and stuff that they can go to, and they haven't. And I think the advantage that the Division 2 has over Anthem is the fact that you had the Division 1. They learned from the mistakes that they made. They made the good changes and stuff like that. Then in Division 2, they took those the good changes from Division 1, already had them in Division 2, and built off of that. That's why I think you're seeing Division 2 be so successful.
Right.
Because Division, don't remember or don't forget, the Division had some rough times as well. Mm-hmm. I remember when they started introducing gear sets and things got all weird in the dark zone and stuff like that.
Well, there's certain things that even Division 2 needs to could work up on. Like, the biggest thing is like skill power is the thing that really throws me off. It's like on how their system is kind of broken when it comes to that. But like, what's weird, what's frustrating is like this isn't like an indie studio has a bit too much, bits more than they could chew. This is EA essentially. EA has in their ascension and throughout the whole history, and let alone, I mean, BioWare, this may be their first game, but they have the resources for that. They have the history. When you see Destiny, when you see the Division and stuff like that, like what they had to deal, like what they dealt with, like the trial and error, just on that should make it to be like, okay, this is what happened, and things like that. They have the power to at least change that kind of to change it, but they chose not to do it. I mean, it was a simple thing. It was chosen not to do it. When you have your deadline, they said they only started 18 months. That means that they were taking advantage of their time at that point. So I mean, like, there's no excuse of where Anthem's at. Of course, Anthem is going to be Anthem's a new IP, so you will give them the benefits of the doubt that it's new. but there's only so much that new is going to take you. You know, I mean, they need this is a drop on the ball. I will say, a big time drop on the ball, because like to say that that you have to delay your 90-day roadmap, because now now at that point it's indefinite. We don't know what 90 days is going to be for them. Well, I mean, I'm glad that they're doing it so they can fix what needs to be fixed, but they could say that could be done like in November when they start their 90-day program again. Or I mean, it's so indefinite, you don't know what's going to happen. It's like, oh, okay. But God, I love that. That was a great topic, Smitty. I know your frustration with it. It was a great topic.
I've been holding that one in.
Well, that one's good because I think there's a lot of gamers had that pain where it's like, why am I relying on updates to make this okay? Like,
right?
Yeah, and just that endless cycle, like it's super frustrating.
Oh gosh, again, yeah, definitely.
That's why I'm avoiding it until there's no more frustration.
Fair enough. And okay, well, that is the stop. We're done with our topics. Let me take a look inside the CFG Gamecast, where anyone who has something or has wants to have their topic discussed on the podcast can go into. Just type in what you have inside, and then we'll choose one of them. So today we only have two, which is fine. Celothx, controllers versus
and
fight
Doki
sticks.
Doki Literature Club.
And Doki Doki Literature Club. CFG Gamecast, the unofficial Doki Doki Literature Club discussions group right
From
there.
now on.
Yes. Okay, so
only CFG.
Donkey Show Overwatch is overrated. That's funny. Yeah. He's half right. I will give it that. He is half right.
No, that is 100% wrong.
No.
That is incorrect.
Fake news. Okay, let's see. Kohaku Moon's topic. I think we'll do with Kohaku Moon, which I know her. She's a really cool cat. You should check her stuff out. I'm gonna give you. Well, I can't do a shout out, but give a thing with Kohaku Moon. Does RPG runs in Monster Hunter, so definitely check Kohaku Moon out. Her topic was digital game dependence on corporate-owned servers and how it affects the consumer in the long term. So I guess this could go into effect of like, Epic services and stuff, or Steam, and how it goes in the long term. Personally, I mean, I don't really think it's I guess the biggest issue is how big of a cut is that developer going to get, in my opinion. Is where it's going to come into, because the reason why we're in this like era of this is going to be an Epic Store exclusive, or this is going to be a so and so exclusive, and trust me, there's we only hear the big three, which is Steam, Epic, GOG, I expect.
GOG.
Yeah, GOG. GOG is huge. Actually, it's a really
okay.
Yeah, but like the only reason why they're doing it is because the people have depending on where you're getting your games at, they're getting bigger depending on the size of the cuts. Like Epic gives the developer a bigger cut, even though they're publishing it. Steam is the one that's the most limited one towards it. So I'm definitely down. I guess the bigger thing is that like I really wish I'm more against exclusives. Because like if you have a game, especially when you're in an all digital formats kind of thing, you don't want to have only one spot to get your game noticed. You want to go to as many spots as you possibly can to be like, hey, here you go. I mean, like, even though I'm only getting a 40% cut or 40% cut out of this, even to be published, it's still being exposed. I mean, The Messenger is a great game. I don't think The Messenger would have gotten to that level of praise if they said, okay, this is a Steam exclusive. I mean, I think that you could have found it in other ways, in other places, and other things that it really, I think it helps that these kind of these corporate owned servers help games kind of thrive, because they have the resources to push out the games to you instead of you doing it yourself. I mean, do any of y'all want to comment?
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with that. Like, it's kind of it's a symbiotic relationship right now where it does definitely benefit everyone. Right now, I am concerned about it. Like our topic earlier about big companies exploiting and taking advantage of, and you specifically said the magic words of exposure. So, especially like from like actual like indie game developers too, because it's like, here's my game, it's my baby. I've literally made a whole game, and we have a good independent studio, and there it is for the distributors to take a huge cut and basically be our fate one way or the other and take advantage of us if they need to. I haven't heard much about the distributors, like, because that's basically what it is. I'm not familiar with stories where they really have made problems for indie game developers. Like, there's always some, but it hasn't gotten to like, wow, this is like really exploitative. This is really like predatory. Like, I haven't heard any of those yet, so I think it's okay right now. But I'm worried for it because I think it is getting to a point where it might be. There might be companies and clients that like do take advantage in the future, especially since gaming, like you said, is getting so much bigger. There'll be, more good, more bad.
Yeah, Smitty, how about you?
Right. Yeah. So what Kohaku and Salathox they're talking. So they were saying that just them, you own this game, you paid for this game, but let's say they shut down the studio or shuts down or something like that, then do you just lose that library? You never actually, again, it's that leasing feeling, not having that physical copy, not, feeling like you own it because it's on their servers. So you're kind of at the mercy, of that company. You know what I mean? Like, if they wanted to shut down the server and be like, well, we're done with this game, then what happens to you as a consumer? I think, and you guys were talking too about exclusives. I'm curious to see how you guys feel then about like PlayStation and like Xbox exclusives. I know a lot of people are like, well, I don't feel like, with Epic Games having exclusives and whatnot, but that's the same thing that like a PlayStation, does, say, with Days Gone. I know a lot of people are talking about, hey, I want this to be on PC, and I would absolutely play it. I mean, I eventually will play that game. But what are your guys' thoughts as far as with that?
Well, so my biggest thing is this, with that is because that's a little bit different, because the difference is that Sony that's Sony's game. They made that. So, like, I mean, they can do whatever the heck they wanted to do if they want, because, like, Days Gone, Spider-Man, like that. Now, let's say Spider-Man. Spider-Man it shouldn't be an exclusive. I've always hated I've always hated when they decide, like, I think one of the best games that's completely underrated, but did terrible because it was an exclusive was Tomb Raider. When it was on Xbox. So like was when they decided to make it exclusivity from Square Enix, they didn't get nowhere near the numbers they were wanting to get. But like it hurt Square Enix's sales because of it. When stuff like that happens, then it's like, oh, okay, then no. I've always been open on third party even second party if it still exists, but third party support for all the systems. Unless they're unless they said it, but like with games like Days Gone or God of War and stuff like that, I can understand why it's only on that system, is because they made it for that system,
Yeah, I see it, but I do definitely kind of a disadvantage. Like, I'm not one that's going to go out and buy a system just for one game only, which is tough. I know a lot of people have done it, and I've wanted it in the past, but there's usually been at least like some kind of backup. Like, I mean, I know like way back, like I wanted the PlayStation because Resident Evil was on it. I wanted the Dreamcast because Resident Evil Code Veronica was on it. But like, it's still tough to actually make those purchases based on just one exclusive game. And like, I grew up like with consoles for my gaming. I later on got into computers as I needed that, like for school and, and then like, oh, wait, I could just not buy any game system and just download Steam for free instead of buying a game system where I'd have to choose between some games and some other games. Whereas like Steam almost always has everything. Yeah. At least, like it also theme. So like I just got less and less in because I was, you know, PlayStation fangirl growing up, like no Xbox, just PlayStation, one of those. So so like, but like to have it where it's just like I want to play the particular games I want to play, and the system around it has to have its other functions to make me happy. So like there's computers, like it's all the other functions for it, and it's like other weird little biases. Like I like the PlayStation controller more than I ever liked the Xbox controller. That's been a thing for me. So like I prefer if I could play it on either, I'll choose PlayStation. And so it's the other things that have to do with it. So I think like having a game exclusive specifically kind of just hurts the game.
Yeah, we kind of veered off of your topic. First off, I apologize. I definitely apologize on not interpreting that correctly. But I will say that the host your games that you bought kind of thing. Okay, so basically, like you were saying, hosting depending on being online on the active server. Well, I personally hate it because I need from the long and short of it, I don't like it. I don't like it that we have that we have to depend on the company's wall for it, because like I mean. I think I was talking about last week was that we were at a point where we had just specific digital content like Scott Pilgrim you can't download that because of a mixture of copyright and a mixture of it's an exclusive on PS3 that you to do it, or the horrible version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4 that came out on PS3 that came out, and then so you paid $15 to buy the game, and then but then they said, oh, this was a bad idea, canceled it completely. So now you lost $15. Yeah, I mean they removed it completely from the store. So like it's like there's going to be more and more, and what's worse is that there's going to be more and more instances like that because gaming is coming to the digital content.
Going to be for more of the companies, because it sounds like it's been like Xbox, PlayStation. They've been the ones that have like canceled those kinds of things. Are there any like Steam examples?
Well, yeah, godly, like I mean, Steam is like an incubator of that stuff for years on it. Like if there's a game that came out, or let's say there was a game that was controversial. That was controversial or needed to be back printed, or I think one of the popular games, I think Super Meat Boy was one of them for a little bit of it. Yeah, the first one, because of the there was issue because there was some bugs in it to a point where they just refused to change to update the code to fix it. And so then at one point in time, like they removed it off of the Steam platform, and it took them 2 years for it to come, like a year or two to come back.
It took when it was long. Fixed. I remember
it was crazy.
Issues with that one, but that's exceptional. Yeah. That's a long time.
I mean, you know what's funny? Like they could have just said, no, screw it, we're not going to release Super Meat Boy again. And then, but still, it's way too powerful for them to do that. But what sucks is that they're totally perfectly fine on taking your money, but they don't feel like the obligation. Yeah, the obligation isn't there for them to get what they were paying. You know.
You know what I think they should start doing? I think they should start doing the digital, or I'm sorry, like physical copies, digital downloads, like a lot of like Blu-ray movies are doing right now. Because like a lot of people, you know, they want, you know, to be able to have both. And I think something like that could potentially help it, where like maybe the clients they're not the ones that are holding it on their server. It's about, you know, what you have in your computer. Maybe, I mean, like the
I don't think they'll do that though.
Great. Yeah, I don't think they
you know what I mean? Because they're the cost of that as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, again, this is all about that return of investment, making money. If they can just say, hey, we're going to give you a digital copy, we don't have to waste any money on physical things. I absolutely believe they'll go that route. I think that's a great idea. I would love it if they would do something like that though.
Now that you're going to see games are going to be like $70. 70, $80.
I mean, that's only $10 more than they are now, when we are all old enough to remember when they were all $50 instead of $60.
It keeps creeping up though. My pay doesn't creep up like that.
The bar I went to last night just increased their beer prices by $1 across the board.
what's it called though? I
True.
think an easy way to an easy fix is to make them DRM free. I mean, because like because like with DRM, you're there like the authenticate, you have to be online for authentication for it to go with it. So they need, I mean, like I said, that's why I love GOG so much, GOG so much. It's like all their games are DRM free. So like the whole thing is just like you'll be able to still feel like you still own the game, but instead of feeling like you have to be online to play the game that you already purchased. So so I mean that could be the easy fix, but I don't know if they're going to do that. I mean, especially AAA titles, they definitely not going to do that. So like, but right. No, that's cool. I like that discussion. Thank you for that. Thank you for that question, Kohaku Moon. And like I said, anyone can go into CFG Gamecast channel, put in a topic, and we'll discuss it. If I'm wrong, then definitely feel free to, definitely feel free to definitely feel free to put something in, and then we'll choose one of the others, choose one of the topics. But once again, Sesh, thank you for stopping by. Same thing for you, Smitty.
Absolutely, my friend.
Yes,
thank you.
Definitely check out Sesh's stuff on reviewsesh.com. See some more Doki Doki fun. Check out Smitty2447 over on his channel, which with Overwatch goodness. Maybe if he decides to get off his lazy butt to be doing some Division 2 would be great.
I'm gonna throw in some Overwatch 2 just because of the comment.
and then we're gonna definitely go do some we usually do Tales of Vesperia with friends on Sundays. With just a couch co-op with a group of CFG folks. So definitely tune in then. So but everyone, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for the people that followed throughout the stream. I was like, wow, this is really great. It really shows that we're doing it the right way. I really appreciate it. Let us grow. And you can also check our podcast, our previous episodes on the CFG Gamecast on podbean.cfggamecast.com. So thank you. Y'all all have a great afternoon. I need to get ready to watch some Endgame, so y'all take it easy.
Mwah.